That's the start of the video! There you go, I made it very clear for you.
Oh my god!
This is the prediction for Jason versus Michael Myers. Specifically, that's what it's worded at. It's not Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers.
Yeah,
It's just
Jason versus Michael Myers.
I got my
they
whole
thought
research
Jason was
doc
iconic
for...
enough to stand on his
on the
own.
Voorhees name.
Don't worry, I got my whole research doc for the Greek hero Jason of the Argonauts ready. It's gonna be great. I'm not sure why they're putting him against Michael Myers, though. It doesn't make much sense to me. Who knows what they're thinking?
Hello everyone, it's me, Max. I'm here.
Have you
I'm
seen
doing a prediction
Shrek?
with you guys.
Hi, Max.
It's me,
Hello,
Galaxy
Max.
Video Max.
We're all...
I've been waiting for this day since the beginning. I've been waiting for them to do Jason versus Michael.
I've been waiting a long
For a
time.
We're so
long
happy to
time.
have you.
Yeah, we're
I'm
also
happy to
joined
be
here by our good friend Hunter Hurst Helmsley. You can say hello.
What the fuck? Who the fuck is
Who the
that?
fuck are you
That's-
talking about?
That's not me.
I always call him by a
Hey
different
guys,
name. That's the
I'm
thing.
gonna actually introduce myself. I'm Ectospasm TA. I'm the other guy that shows up in the reactions in this channel.
The one who
Hello,
sees...
Ectospasm TA.
Hello, Ectospasm
Hello.
TA. He's taken the place of Bivid in the reactions because it's much easier to organize the time with him.
And you know, we're here to
Oh, that's
talk
the only
about
reason?
the latest revealed death battle of Jason versus Michael. And I before even saying about like the results and anything, I'm very excited that this is happening. This is gonna be one of the big ones. This is
We
like
all are.
this is huge.
We're all really excited. I just want to say,
Yeah.
I need him in my blood. I need a scene that's just a first person perspective, one shot take of
Yes.
Michael or Jason. You can go either way for the reference. Walking through like the location. I need that so much.
Yeah, it could be like Michael from the POV, and then Jason jump scares him with like the machete.
I wanna
Yeah.
interject before we get any farther into this video and before we drag out the intro too long. This video will contain spoilers for both the plot and general versus aspects of Halloween Ends, which is a very recent
Yes.
film. If you have not seen it yet, I wouldn't recommend watching the death battle for that matter, but also not this video.
No, is death battle gonna be able to count for Halloween Ends? Like this is like I don't think they could have.
I mean, it's out on streaming services.
yeah, but like the death battle has probably been like worked on way before the movie had
I
come
mean,
out.
like, Ends doesn't add enough that I think it would like change the verdict that
Yeah.
much or like take up that much
If
time.
anything ends like hurts Michael's chances.
Imagine that's just it's just
fucking
it's just a black box in the corner. Halloween's Ends came after this was written. Michael actually stands less of a chance than we said.
Added nothing. Added absolutely nothing. He got
Yeah.
his ass kicked by
Also-
Colby Cunningham.
I want to preface, at least with my research, I know that they have like a recommended material guide for like
Yes,
a
they
vague
do.
idea of what they're going to be using for the research
I
for
can
the
actually
death
get
battle.
those. I can actually get
At least
those
for the
up right
research
now.
that I have done for my notes includes every film in every timeline for both movies. So all of the Thorn timeline movies, all of the Zombie Final and H2O timeline movies for Halloween, and the main timeline plus the reboot for Jason. And it includes the comics for both novelizations of the movie and novels set in the movie's timelines.
Yeah.
And a little bit of extra research for a couple of video games they've shown up in, just on the off chance that they do include those.
Yeah, I think they will include. They probably will include Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, the game. I don't. Maybe they'll include Mortal Kombat too, but probably not scaling Jason to Liu Kang or anything.
No.
Like, can you
Okay,
imagine
I've
they
actually-
get, like planet level Jason?
Jason Voorhees defeated Raiden, and so he's a god.
Yeah, it's even scarier because like it's very clear in that game that's human Jason, that is not zombie Jason, and it's stated in the novelization of I believe part 6 that every time Jason resurrects he gets stronger.
Novelizations, they give a lot of weird like powers to these horror characters.
I really want to say that,
Oh,
that
yeah.
Jason scaling to Mortal Kombat would still be more sensible than Leatherface scaling. Yeah, because Jason's actually superhuman. Leatherface is just some dumb guy with a chainsaw. I mean, he's got
Don't
superhuman
be
features, sure,
mean.
but
Don't be so
Don't be mean to him.
Don't be mean to
What? I mean-
Bubba.
I mean, if you could call Jason a dumb guy with a machete too.
No, Jason's smart enough to complete full sentences. He said, "Get the hell away from her, Ed." when he was and Jason Goes to Hell.
Actually, I'm looking at the movie list. They're actually including the documentary. His name was Jason for this. I haven't actually seen
They
it.
are.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet it gives some advice.
It probably
I bet
gives
it says
something.
stuff in
They've
it.
got they've got
I was
Friday
actually just
like
watching that. Actually,
they got all the Friday
That's a
films.
good documentary.
It is. I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, it's good. It's long, but it's good.
I just noticed it's been exactly 13 years since the last Friday movie.
Oh,
That's
this is really perfect. This is
that's
going to be the
perfect,
13th
yeah.
episode on Halloween, and it's the 13th year since the last Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
the 13th episode of this season, if I'm not wrong, and Halloween Kills is the 13th Halloween
Yeah.
movie.
It is the 13th. This is fucking stars aligned. The
I knew
stars
those things.
aligned.
I completely forgot the reboot was made in 2009. I completely blanked on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys want to just get into it?
Well, I'll read out the suggested media list just because we were talking about it. They've got all the Friday movies, including Freddy vs. Jason, which, despite what some people might think, is not actually that big a help. They got the documentary.
It is canon, though.
They got a ton of comics, including Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, both of them.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, they got Jason vs. Jason X on there, which I think is the one where Jason could scale to Uber Jason.
Yep. Yep.
I don't think they've got the book. They haven't listed the book that has the supposed city level feed. I don't think.
Let's bring up the books just in case.
Yeah, they got for games. They got obviously the Friday the 13th game. The Jason X novel is a actually that might be it.
Wait, do they have the NES game?
No.
What the fuck?
Actually, I mean they
What
might.
the fuck?
Friday the 13th, the game could refer to the NES game or to the newer one.
Yeah, I wonder what they meant by that. They surely meant the NES game.
Oh god, I just realized I've got like an animation set up for like Atari Michael versus NES Jason. I've just never gone back to finish it.
I want to see that so bad. I want to see that.
It's not even a good animation. It's literally just the plan was literally just they walk into each other.
It can't be. It's Atari Michael and NES Jason.
It's Atari because like it's funny because if you just use those games, Friday or the NES Jason takes on like multiple camp counselors before he goes down. Michael's just killed by Laurie in one hit sometimes.
Yeah.
Like she just kicks his ass.
Ecto already said what Halloween material they're going with, so I think that covers that.
Yeah, there's the original timeline, H2O timeline, zombie timeline, green timeline, and Dead by Daylight, and that's it.
Yeah. They're confirming Dead by Daylight? They're having Dead by Daylight for him?
Miscellaneous Dead by Daylight. I don't know how much that helps him. I've
It helps. It helps.
If we're starting off with Michael, I want to jump into this with debunking and clarifying a couple things.
Debunks, I love them.
Yeah, so
Let's
I've
start
seen
by
this.
Tearing Michael down a little, why don't we?
Let's tear him down so we can build him back up. I bring these up specifically because I have had them used as arguments in why he should scale to certain places or what abilities he should have. There's a misconception that Michael has survived decapitation because of the end of, I believe, Halloween 5.
It's H2O.
Did H2O? Okay.
Laurie decapitates him, but in Resurrection, they reveal that that was not Michael. There was some guys that Michael, a paramedic that Michael like sliced his like vocal cords or something, so he couldn't speak.
Yeah, it's
actually a pretty
revealed
good feat
that
of
Michael
intelligence
dressed
for
the dude
Michael.
up as himself. Michael was not even present for that decapitation. There's also a misconception that Michael survived being flushed out of a mine shaft with TNT. This is also not true. It's at the end of a movie, he is gunned down and jumps into a mine shaft, which people throw TNT down. It is shown at the beginning of the next movie that he got out before the explosion went off, and even getting caught at the tail end of that explosion, it put him into a coma for an entire year.
That would actually be a really good anti-feat for Michael because I'm pretty sure that
let's build up Michael a little, huh?
I'm pretty sure with service area that'd be pretty weak.
Halloween 2, he starts a pretty good explosion.
Yeah, he survived plenty of explosions. It's just he didn't survive that one.
Yeah,
a lot of people bring that explosion
that
up,
was an
and
anti-feat.
well, he did survive it, but he caught the very tail end of it, and he fucking barely survived it at that.
He also just got gunned down, like by a lot of people.
And then also, one of the bigger things, if not the only thing that would add anything to the debate, really, at least to my knowledge, that Dead by Daylight gives Michael, is that I believe the presence is the being that controls them all, or like the entity.
Something like that. Yeah, the entity is what I think it is.
Yeah, the entity. The entity controls all of the killers and survivors in Dead by Daylight. but it is not able to control Michael. This might give Michael some sort of resistance to telepathy, mind control, possession, something like that. However, even if you were to argue that that might give him resistance towards the Hell Baby, I think it's called, the little worm Jason spits out.
Stupid.
That's not really that much of a factor in the debate to begin with, because for those who don't want to sit through hours,
his body had to be destroyed for that to even to occur.
Jason kind of just could kill him anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised that's what they're using Dead by Daylight for, is just to argue against that.
But
to give Michael
since you
something.
you brought up like that, how that Hell Baby whatever possession, but Jason does have another way to possess you. In one of the novels, they establish if you wear a hockey mask, you are possessed by Jason.
Oh,
so if you put on that hockey mask,
that's so dumb.
But
I don't know if
to give
Jason,
a general.
If Michael tries to possess Jason, which I don't know if he can, but if he tries, then he'll be wearing the mask, and Jason possesses him right
I saw
back.
some people saying that they hope there's a moment in the fight where whoever ends up winning takes the other person's mask and wears it. I'm like, I think that'd be kind of stupid.
Why?
Yeah, that would be very stupid.
It would genuinely make more sense if they picked up the other's weapon.
Yeah.
Like, if they're gonna pick something up from the other, it's gonna be, hey, there's a thing I can kill someone with. Let's just take that one.
Yeah, but fucking Jason's not gonna care about a fucking chef's knife when he has his machete.
Nah, I guess the assumption would be that he loses the machete in the fight. You can have him pick the knife up.
And he's like, well, I need something else.
Yeah. I'm just imagining Jason, like, he kills Michael, he looks down, he's like, oh shit, I fucking love Shatner! Just takes the mask.
But okay, like, with Michael, he can, in Halloween 4, he transferred his evil into Jamie. Jamie Lloyd. No. Is that her name?
Jamie Lloyd.
Jamie Lloyd. He transferred his evil into her, and Dr. Lewis is able to eventually snap her out of it with therapy, but for a bit, she was the shape, right? Is that Michael possessing her, or is that weird?
Asterisk there, that specifically the reason that he has any kind of connection, and this is further elaborated on within the Thorn trilogy, is that because of the Thorn cult, which is like TLDR, Jason's fucking caveman ancestors or some shit, had a cult with magic powers that is like why he's so evil and powerful and whatnot. And it also gives him a psychic connection and influence with his niece for some fucking reason. And is also why he constantly knows where to hunt down and kill members of his family. It's real stupid. They don't explain it very well, and it doesn't make for good stories.
That just gave me a really stupid idea.
This thorn curse shit doesn't seem to work on people that are not related to Michael, so I don't think it would work for Jason.
Oh, well, Jason's kind of a ripoff of Michael, so, I mean, let's not go there.
Well, now, and Halloween ends when he looks down Corey Cunningham, and he gets a little bit of that shape evil.
Yeah, that is an actual example. In the final timeline in Halloween Ends, he's able to, at the very least, influence someone and make them more like himself. It seems like Corey does gain strength buff and more homicidal tendencies, where previously he wasn't actually a killer at all.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That means he could make Jason stronger and want to kill him more.
Jason...
That's a great idea. I love this plan.
Yeah, like, even if we took that as Michael somehow possessing people, that does just get counteracted by the Jason Voorhees mask.
Yeah, he's just going to be wearing the mask now.
It sucks because all of these actual supernatural...
He's wearing the mask.
Yeah.
All of these actual supernatural powers that Michael has just either don't seem to be a factor or would work against him, followed up by... In the final timeline, at the end of Halloween Kills and throughout Halloween Ends, it is implied that both the fear Michael instills into people and the people that he kills give him some form of power. It's kind of vague, but even assuming this were the case, just like flat out blatantly, he gets stronger each time he kills, or he draws power from the people he instills fear in. He's not going to scare Jason, and he's not going to kill Jason, so I don't know how much those are really going to help.
Let's just get into like the strength difference here, since we're already talking about it, sort of. I think it's safe to say Jason is stronger.
Yeah, Michael's best direct feats of like we'll compare lifting to begin with.
Okay.
Michael's best direct lifting feats in the first movie and in the Rob Zombie remake, he pulls a tombstone out of the ground. Estimates have put this tombstone at anywhere from I think 500 to 1,000 pounds. Assuming it's 1,000 pounds, that's like half a ton. In the zombie timeline, Michael was able to flip a car. A car can usually range from about 1 or 2 tons. And in one of the O'Rourke novelizations, or I guess not novelizations, just novels, Michael is able to move a tree across a road that it said 4 people were struggling to lift.
Oh yeah.
There's no real frame of reference for how big this tree is, but
people.
Yeah, that's what I had to go by. Assuming that we take the average amount that a grown man can lift, which I think is about 175 pounds, multiply that by 4, it might be like a 700-pound tree.
So he did lift
by
the whole
far
tree off
his
the
most
ground.
impressive lifting
lift
feat.
a full 700-pound tree.
I literally just said that.
Yeah, fucking.
I said it louder.
Well, that's just because
But-
you were louder as a person. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I
But
don't know
by
who
far,
was louder.
Michael's best direct feat in terms of lifting is roughly a 1 to 2 ton car.
But you know, I do think Michael has a durability feat to contend with Jason in those novels. Because in those novels, a house straight up blows up and an earth-shaking explosion, which is just like bullshit wording, but it's an earth-shaking explosion.
Yeah, I mean, any explosion big enough to like blow up a house is going to like make the ground shake. But
And like it's severe enough to melt Michael's like mask to his face.
yeah,
Wow,
but
it can
Michael
melt
just walked
a
out of
He's still
fires and
walking around. He's
explosions
like,
like that
Wow,
one
around.
it can
before.
melt that weak mask. That's insane.
I mean, even with that in I want to say part 8, New Blood, part 7, Jason
house blows
survives the house exploding at the end. Now there is an argument to be made that he might not have survived it and he might have gotten out. If he did, that's absolutely a case of teleportation because like fucking 2 seconds after we see that explosion.
Fact that Jason can teleport. In the games, it's established as a straight ability. And in Manhattan, I don't care what the fuck you say. It was not drugs. He was clearly teleporting. That was clearly teleportation.
Well, I bring up specifically that case because it's fucking 2 seconds after we see that house explode, they fucking like turn to the left and Jason's just standing there. He's like, "Hey guys, what's up?" Fucking. And you could also argue teleportation for Michael, but it's less blatant.
Yeah. I would still give it to him as a durability feat because I think he survives like similar like big things in the comics of like explosions.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
like they both survived plenty of explosions in their day.
I think
The most notable
durability
for
wise,
Michael.
they're on a similar playing field if you don't account for Uber Jason. If you
Right.
don't count Uber Jason, I think they're comparable. in
Should I
durability.
bring up the city level
Yeah,
thing? that I've
direct
got
beats
here?
they should be similar.
Sure. Bring up the city level thing.
So
Let's talk
the
about it.
direct quote, and for the context is literally just he landed in a huge crater, one that stretched for miles and ran at least a half mile deep. It's saying outright that the reason this explosion happened was because of Jason or Uber Jason crashing. Basically, it says, once he had traveled what must have been a mile or so, this he is referring to someone else, by the way, not Jason, he both heard and felt an enormous explosion. That would be the crash. The ground quaked and he nearly lost his balance. He turned to see the fuel source erupting into the sky with a spinning silver flame that might have reached as high as the space station, for he could see it shoot up and pierce the atmosphere of the planet and ascend further out into space. I'm gonna say that's above city level, actually.
Jesus Christ.
So literally, if you use this novel, which is Jason X Planet of the Beast, Uber Jason crashes and like he crashes into a fuel source that creates a huge explosion that reaches up into space, like out of the atmosphere, explicitly reaches the space station. Which I don't remember that being in
is
Jason.
this big enough that we would consider it an outlier? Or at the very least, it would be valid to consider it an outlier.
No, because doesn't Uber Jason also like survive a black hole or something?
I don't remember that. I can say that
I wanted to like bring up the discussion of should we even scale Jason to Uber Jason?
I think that's the bigger question.
I wouldn't say so because
you
he's
can
pretty
call
explicitly weaker.
I don't think you can call it an outlier because Uber Jason has never been harmed by basically anything.
Yeah, nothing's hurt him.
So you can't say it's an outlier because literally nothing's hurt him. So this could just be another example of him being basically indestructible. The problem, I think, is that scaling like Zombie Jason, I think, is the one that fought Uber Jason, scaling to each other, and then assuming that the comic Uber Jason has the exact same feat as the one in the book.
Oh, it's novel Uber Jason.
Yeah, it's not
well,
clear.
Let's just first discuss should Jason scale, because he does fight Uber Jason and does pretty well for himself.
Mm-hmm. I've not actually read the comic where that happens.
In the comic, they are trading blow. They're stabbing each other. They're punching each other. They're fucking each other up. But ultimately, Uber Jason wins. But it is a close match, even though Uber Jason was supposed to be an upgrade to Jason, and Jason.
Because like Jason gets fucking bodied by the android chick in the movie, and then Uber Jason comes up and just backhands her.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a fucking upgrade, but they're like, no, we're gonna have to fight. Who even thought of a good idea?
It seems to just be like a trend in media in general. Like, I don't know how much this reference will mean to either of you, but like in the Mazinger franchise, there are generations of giant robots that they pilot. Each one is explicitly supposed to be stronger and stronger and stronger than the next. Like, it is supposed to be like severe power escalation. But every time an older unit meets a newer one, the older unit either outright wins or is able to easily contend with the newer ones. Like, it seems like that kind of, they want to keep their recognizable, like, old icon alive and relevant, so they can't have them just get their ass completely kicked by the new guy.
Join us for the new Dragon Ball manga, Super Saiyan 2 Goku versus Super Saiyan God Goku. But Super Saiyan 2 is going to put up a really good fight.
Fuck.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
like...
Heroes isn't far from that, honestly.
Oh my God,
I think you're right
That's true.
to not... I think you're right to not give Uber Jason defeats in that novel when doing scaling of the normal Jason, but in the comics, doesn't Uber Jason make a crater?
Yes. I believe that...
How strong is that?
The crater feat was erroneously put at town level, but it was very clear, at least to Calcas, that it was really inflated, and I think it got downgraded to multi-city block building range and around that area, which is a bit more consistent with what Jason tends to be. Multi-city block is like a couple tiers higher than where Jason normally is, but it's a bit more consistent than fucking atmosphere-sized explosion.
So if we do scale him to Uber Jason, put some multi-city block, but I don't think we should scale him to Uber Jason. I think that
what is
dumb
the context?
comic, and he's supposed to be an upgrade.
What is actually the context? Like, how do they meet? Because I've never read
it. I don't.
Do they just walk up to each other and start fighting?
I just saw the fight. I saw all the panels where they were fighting.
You know what? I'm just gonna literally go Jason vs. Jason X.
Go right now.
Right now. I'm gonna go read the fucking comic.
How did it happen? How the hell did this happen?
Someone explain to me how the hell Jason could meet his future self.
Jason X, the future Jason, meet past Jason, and kind of get his ass kicked a little by the normal Jason.
If there's a good explanation, then maybe it could be reasonable.
I wanna, while we're looking through this, go through some of the advantages, at least as far as I have seen, and feel free to correct me on these. That Michael has.
I think we should start off. He's smarter. He's smarter than Jason.
Yes, absolutely.
We've
they
seen
both
him
show
sabotage
similar levels.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, both of them have shown the ability to sabotage vehicles, power lines, phone lines on numerous occasions each. But Michael has shown himself not only to be literate, he can both write and read. He can drive a car.
Samhain.
Yeah, he can drive a car in several movies and I think one comic, which
maybe someone gave him lessons.
To my knowledge, Jason can't.
Jason, no, I've never seen him drive a car.
Jason has, I have actually some notes here about some of the shit Jason does. Both of them intentionally will like disguise themselves under like a bed sheet or something, or like set up a body in a creative way, like specifically to fuck with people.
I remember in Friday 2, Jason does that when he's got the sack head.
Like, yeah, and in Halloween 1, when fucking Michael throws the ghost bed sheet over him and disguises himself as Bob.
He's goofing around, that little Michael.
Like, or like some of the ways they set up kills. like fucking Jason will just like throw somebody's head at someone else, or like how Michael fucking shoves a flashlight into a decapitated head to make it a jack-o'-lantern in Halloween Kills. Both of them will just set up fucking corpses to fuck with people that find them. At one point, I believe Tommy Jarvis is trying to find Jason, and Jason makes some fake bubbles and then shows up from a different location while he's underwater to try and misdirect him. Let's see.
I think Michael has an advantage. He did that big that scheme, that switcheroo scheme, where he switched his bodies with the guy, and it's like made him not be able.
He's
to
done that multiple times, actually.
Has he done it again?
Not only has, Michael in one of the movies dresses up someone as himself, and they get their head lopped off. In one of the comics, Jason cuts out a man's tongue and slits his throat, and then dresses him up as himself and puts a knife in his hand, so that when he walks out, the police shoot this dude down, thinking that he's Michael. Michael once he murdered people as he was escaping the hospital he was being held in, and gave the knife to another inmate who happened to be a serial killer fanatic to frame him for the kills so that nobody suspected Michael had gotten out. Michael is very good at setting things up.
It looks like they're both pretty comparable in intelligence then, if Jason also did the switcheroo.
Let me think if
Like,
Jason has done this.
what would definitively put Michael ahead of Jason in terms of intelligence?
I think being literate, being able to drive, and just like his general like, Michael has fucking Houdini'd his way out of so many situations by either like dressing himself up as someone else, fucking making narrow escapes, or like just using the environment around him or some shit. Like a lot of the time, Michael will just brute force walk his way out of something.
In one of the Freddy vs. Jason comics, in the Freddy vs. Jason comic, they established Jason wants to become smarter. Like, that's what he's getting from Freddy. That's why he's doing this. Is because he'll become smarter. So obviously, he is to a degree. He's kind of dumb. He's a little dumb. And we do see him later become smarter, and he does stuff that normal Jason wouldn't do. Like he's wise to some tricks that he would ordinarily fall for, showing that he can fall for a lot of tricks.
Yeah, Jason does get tricked a lot, like when one of the survivors, I fucking forget her name, dresses up as Pamela Voorhees and goes, Jason, stop.
Mother is talking to you!
Or when Tommy Jarvis fucking just shaves his head and is like, look, I'm younger you, and Jason's like, oh, that checks out.
What does Jason think he's looking at?
Or fucking, it's not necessarily a scene of being tricked, but I guess another scene showing his fucking childishness. And this is a fucking weird scene at the end of Jason Takes Manhattan when he's being fucking flooded with toxic waste, and he turns and goes, Ma?
And then it's so fucking weird. Jason Goes to Manhattan is fucking weird.
Yeah, Jason Takes Manhattan's a fucking strange movie.
Takes Manhattan.
Okay, I've just finished the comic.
What did you find? What did you find, Nemesis?
That was a trip. So the way it starts is a salvage crew goes into the space station, right? The one where all the fucking the Grendel, whatever it's called.
Wherever Jason X took place.
They find the half of Jason's head is just there.
Why?
I don't remember. What injuries did he get that made him turn into Uber Jason? Did he have half his head blown off?
I think
he had his fucking limbs blown off with a rocket launcher.
I know that part.
Yeah.
Did he lose half his head?
I think he did because half the head had to get replaced with cybernetics.
So, after that happens, Jason X, or Uber Jason, they call him just Jason X in this comic.
We should call him Uber Jason.
Uber Jason's a much cooler and stupider name, and that
He's
fits
uber
Jason X
cool.
better. He just shows up on the Grendel.
Cool.
He's just there on the ship. And then Jason just shows up.
Okay, so they just didn't give a shit. They just didn't give a shit what they were writing.
Okay. They say in the next.
They're like, holy shit, is that half of Jason Voorhees' head? Holy shit, is that entire Jason Voorhees?
In the second issue, they say that he was repaired by nanomachines. But first off, nanomachines would repair.
The zombie Jason was repaired by nanomachines?
There's a few problems.
Then that could explain it. That could explain why he was stronger.
There is a few problems to me with that, though. One, his head was nowhere near where the nanomachines are. Two, the precedent is when Jason gets fixed up by nanomachines, he becomes Uber Jason. So why does this repair him exactly like in
Look,
the exact
look.
same clothes as zombie Jason. And I want to point out
To
these
get
are
us the fuck out of this.
these are
To get us
classic.
the fuck out of this and
classic-
just make it a fair fight again. Let's say that the cybernetics made him strong, but they decided to keep him looking iconic.
I want to
That's all
point
it
out
was.
he wasn't even wearing those clothes in Jason X. He's wearing like Jason 3 era clothes. Like it's weird. Also, his machete was repaired. even though he doesn't he had his machete as Uber Jason. He didn't lose it. What?
He just wanted his machete back.
So either the nanomachines
He was
somehow
specifically the one that killed his mom.
yeah, and they never explain why they fight. Uber Jason is motivated by his mum, a classic Jason thing. The whispers of his mother with no explanation. And then Jason regular is just also there. Like Uber Jason actually spares a girl's life and saves her from a regular Jason to start the fight. Like regular Jason's
So
like
Uber Jason's kind of a sweetheart.
like regular Jason's raising the machete to whack her in the head, and Uber Jason tosses her aside to go after her.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch, Jason.
Like what the hell's up with that? And then they just crash into the new Earth in the ship, and they're just still fighting in the fire, and then Uber Jason like kills him, takes a chunk of his brain out, puts it into his own brain, and the story just ends.
Okay.
So I don't
Before
know.
we get back to that,
You can
what
either
other advantages does Michael have?
All right. Other advantages Michael has. Michael seems to have at least a more consistent immunity to electricity. Neither of them are entirely
You got
immune.
zaps in the
but-
balls.
that's gonna help. That's gonna help with Jason's like lightning fingers. That's gonna be really useful.
But see,
Every
Michael
time
got
that-
zapped in the balls, and he was like, oh.
Yeah. So to elaborate, every time Jason has got hit with electricity, this includes he gets knocked onto a subway rail. He gets a fucking TV box smashed over his head. He gets power line put into a puddle he's standing in. All of them seem to visibly affect him and like knock him down for a little bit. Michael was put down for a little while when he was both set on fire and caught in a mess of electrical wires by Busta Rhymes. Happy Halloween, motherfucker. But it is shown at the
Fucking
end of that movie.
Halloween!
It is shown at the end of that movie he did survive that. And there's a scene where he kills, I believe John Strode is the character's name, by using a crowbar to pin him to a fuse box, which electrocutes him and takes out the power of the entire neighborhood. Despite it electrocuting him, and assumedly the electricity being conducted from that crowbar into Michael, Michael doesn't seem to be fazed by it at all.
Doesn't Jason, like in Freddy vs. Jason, he kills a guy by letting the electricity go through him to kill the other guy, and Jason's fine.
I'm trying to remember
He
that.
fucking might, but
He did. I
again,
think
this
that's what
is
happened
just
in
all
Freddy
from
vs.
my
Jason.
Do I have to go
research.
get the Freddy vs. Jason kill count and look at
just,
every single
just
kill?
Trust me. Just trust me. He's got some immunity himself. It's just not as strong as Michael's.
I mean,
Right.
if he
and
can
also,
touch like
if
rail,
Michael
like rail,
died
rail,
and got struck by lightning, you just have a burnt corpse. He wouldn't come back to life like Jason.
Also,
does.
I'm very certain.
If you strike Jason with lightning, he gets resurrected.
I'm very certain
Yeah.
that neither of them are going to really need resistance to lightning in this.
Yeah,
fight.
like what the fuck is fucking Jason gonna do? Emperor Palpatine and start zapping
Listen,
Michael for his
I'm
fingers?
trying to give him what advantages I can,
You might as well
considering
go,
all of his
whoa,
supernatural
Jason
powers
is
don't mean
Jason is
anything, and the
better when
stat
he's
gap
lit
is
on
so
fire,
big.
because when Jason's lit on fire, he just keeps going. Or when Michael was lit
Another
on fire,
advantage
it was a
I
problem.
would give to Michael is speed, and I say this because the only bullet dodging feat that I found for Jason is he's running away as a helicopter is firing at him in a comic panel.
It could just be really
Which-
bad aiming.
Like, yeah, it could be bad. Like, there's not enough context. There is no frame, and like, it is very vague. Of just it's a head-on shot of Jason running, and there are bullets hitting the ground behind him. I would hardly call that dodging or reacting to bullets.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a scene in Halloween 4 where Loomis shoots 3 times at Michael, just pointing at him, bam, bam,
Clearly
bam.
looking right at
cuts-
Michael.
Yeah, he's looking right at Michael, bam, bam, bam. And then Michael not only just completely disappears from Loomis's eyesight without Loomis ever looking away from him or fucking probably blinking for that matter, all 3 of the bullets miss him.
Yeah.
So-
and Lewis is like looking around like, what the fuck? Like,
Okay,
he's like,
J-
where'd he
Where
go?
the fuck did he go?
Jason
and that's
X,
another
Jason X actually
that's another
has a
aspect I would give
relativistic
to
feat.
Michael is his stealth slash reportation shit, because a lot of the time when Jason seems to teleport, it's either while people aren't looking at him, or you could make an argument that he got to a place just quicker than the other person did. There's a scene both in H2O and in the original Halloween where Laurie Strode is looking directly at Jason, does not look away, does not blink, it keeps direct eye contact on him.
That's the classic.
Yeah,
Keeps
everyone
direct
brings
eye
that up.
contact with him, and he just fucking disappears.
He loves to do that. Michael loves doing that shit.
I mean, at the same
But I
time,
would
it's
still...
Like he,
Go ahead, Nemesis. I'm sorry.
So I just want to point out, Jason has a sub-relativistic feat as
What does
Jason
he do?
X. In one of the
We're not doing Jason X. We're removing Jason X.
hold on, in one of the books, it's directly stated he crushed a man's head in 1 nanosecond,
Fuck off.
which is
off.
8% the speed of light.
That is not a speed feat. That is just
In a
how like what the
nanosecond.
But also, it describes that Jason moved faster than people could see him. So, and that was
This
counted
is,
like,
this is
like
book Jason, the one that we said even if we include comic book scaling to Jason.
no,
X,
this is just
that's
feats.
not-
This is just feats in the Jason X book. It
This-
doesn't
this is-
specifically
You guys
say.
would
it.
like to know personally how strong Uber Jason is.
Mhm. like it is like even if Jason is fast enough that people can't see him, not only has Michael done that as well, he has done that so fast that 3 bullets missed him.
So I think Michael's faster and has similar durability. He just does not have the same regeneration as Jason.
Yeah, he does not have the
Jason
same
can
generation.
grow. Jason got like obliterated, like his body was like half of his body. It was the chunk of it was out, and it grew back
Yeah.
in seconds. Mere seconds.
In a comic, Jason gets hit with a grenade that blows a huge hole, like half of his torso is gone. And through the duration of a dude like saying a sentence, like through the course of this dude saying, "Oh fuck, this motherfucker's regenerating," Jason completely grows back that part of his torso and kills the dude.
And I think you can argue Michael has some regenerative abilities.
He
but,
does
like,
have some
they're not
regenerative
huge.
abilities.
They
They're
fixed
not
his
huge.
eyes. And Halloween
the
2,
very
his eyes
most
get
that
shot
Michael has
out.
ever
Halloween
done
4,
is
he's fine.
regen eyes. Yeah,
We see a clear
Halloween-
shot. We see a clear shot of him crying in part 5, right?
Yeah, and yes, in Halloween 2, Laurie gets off, and I might add some fucking beautiful aimed pop right in both of Michael's eyes. He gets both of his eyes shot out. By the next movie he shows up in, both of his eyes are back. We just see him, like we see his eyes,
And that's
he
the
can
same
fucking,
timeline, by the way. It's the same
he
timeline.
can see. And this also, it's not only a factor in the Thorn timeline, but the H2O timeline also factors in Halloween 2, and he has his eyes in those.
You can't fucking miss the eyes in H2O. That mask shows his eyes in all of its glory, and it's kind of crappy.
It was really good,
But,
that's a movie that everyone loves. And
The
it's
only
his fan
timeline
favorite.
where eye damage has been a permanent thing for Michael is the final timeline, where he seems to be blind in one eye after the injury where Laurie stabs him in the eye with a
That
coat
Michael-
hanger in Halloween 1.
That Michael's explicitly not supernatural.
I mean,
Actually, not explicitly. It's just what Laurie says at the end of Halloween Ends. But then, like, you can argue he's still a little supernatural.
yeah. I mean, I would still argue he's supernatural by the merit of how many fucking bullets, stab wounds, slashes, beatings he takes in
And
those
that
movies
girl
and
with
just
the
gets
iron,
the
that
fuck
girl with
back
the
up.
iron.
Yeah, how he just fucking gets back up. Like,
Yeah,
he got
he's
shot so many times, stabbed by so many things, and slashed throughout the course of kills. And then, as this mob is still beating him down, he gets back up and kills every single person in that mob.
Okay, do you guys think Michael's durability and strength go together? Like, is he as strong as he is durable, or is he not?
No.
Is he not even strong enough?
No, Michael
Probably
is definitely more durable than he is strong.
What about Jason?
Jason, I would also argue, is more durable than he is strong, but he's still definitely stronger than Michael.
Okay.
And there's also the fact of Jason doesn't necessarily need to be as durable because his regen is so good.
So Jason might not be strong enough to hurt Michael that badly if he's got the building, or like it could be building level durability because the house blew up. I don't know. So they get similar durability feats. That would be
I mean,
hard to
it's
beat.
consistent enough that normal
by his own
people.
machete before. So like clearly his machete
Yeah,
is pretty
it's-
strong.
Oh, okay. So it's a very sharp machete.
Yeah.
It's consistent in every single movie that shit like bullets can pierce them, knives and other type of weapons can cut and stab them. Like, it is consistent and shown several times in every single movie these characters appear in that a normal person can injure them. It's just not going to do much.
Yeah, and it's just in this situation, it's just that Jason would come back from literally anything you do to Michael, whereas Michael, I don't think he could survive getting decapitated. He had to get out of that situation. But if you decapitate Michael, that is it. The shape is no more.
I want to bring that fucking comic up again. If you literally if you go by exactly what the comic shows, Jason can just regrow from half his head. Because, like, despite what the next issue says, he was nowhere near that nowhere near those fucking nanomachines. There is no fucking way. There is no fucking way. There's no fucking way.
Son.
I would sooner believe that Jason could regrow half that hockey mask than that he was healed by the nanomachines on the other side of the fucking ship.
Yeah, what the fuck? How does hockey mask grow back?
Who knows? His hockey mask is back. His clothes.
The hockey mask is part of his essence, don't you know? I already established that.
It is stated at some point that Jason exists in a point between living and dead, and that his body is just an extension of his will.
Oh my god!
I believe that's in one of the novelizations. It also states that Jason has always had a healing factor. It's not a zombie Jason thing. He has had a healing factor since he was a boy. I think in the novelization of part 4 or 6, it states that Jason never had any broken bones and was able to just regenerate from fucking drowning, however that works. And that's why he's able to come back as an adult for Friday 2.
He's not a zombie in 3 and 4, is he?
No.
Well,
no, I mean,
he becomes a zombie in 6.
Because like at the end of 3, he gets a machete straight through the head, and in 4 he's
end of 4. End of 4.
The timeline is that Jason, I think, drowns at like 6-ish years old. Regenerates from a healing factor he's apparently always had. But also it's stated that
his lungs.
I don't think he needs to regenerate his lungs. I think his problem is he would need to just like get his heart starting again.
Yeah.
But it is also like he did die from that. He just got better. Because it's also stated his mom brought him back with the Necronomicon. But he explicitly is not a Deadite. He is some other kind of zombie fueled by the vengeful spirits of Native American people, which is an entirely fucking different can of worms that I will not go into now. But then Jason comes back as an adult for Friday 2, and then through Friday 4, he is still just a fucking regular human, and he dies. And then I think he dies when he gets a fucking axe embedded into her skull or some shit, doesn't he?
It was because Tommy Jarvis used his machete and lopped his head in.
It was the machete.
That's right.
He slides down his machete.
Either in 3 or 4, he does get an axe embedded into his head at some point. I think
it is 3. At the end of 3, he gets an axe to the head.
But in part 6, I want to say it's called Jason Lives.
Yeah, Jason lives.
Comes back as a zombie, and now he is a zombie. Then it goes up to, I think, Goes to Hell.
Yeah, Goes to Hell. No, in Freddy vs. Jason, he's still zombie Jason.
Okay. In Goes to Hell, he's worms. He's possessing people.
He's a worm. Okay, but I've got a question. Is there anything in Dead by Daylight that can help Michael overcome Jason? Is there any hacks he gets in Dead by Daylight?
Most of his hacks is shit like, I think gaining buffs based on like, I think he has the ability, if he fixates on a specific target for long enough, he's able to like get a stat buff for like induced paranoia or some shit. It's mostly like fear manipulation and that other kind of shit that he already has canonically. It's the kind of shit that just won't fucking work on Jason, really would only work on an actual like fucking regular Michael victim.
If Michael's got no hacks in that game and nothing else, it's just Jason's victory. Because that regeneration is nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's also, I think, just Jason does blatantly outstat. Because I want to compare, like, it may not seem like that big of a difference, but I want to just go through and compare some feats that these two have by, like, similarity. Where Michael is able to decapitate someone with a knife, which is pretty impressive. Jason has not only on 2 different occasions just punched somebody's head off, he pummeled a guy's head so hard it came out the bottom of his torso. And also, where Michael is able to stick his thumb into somebody's skull, Jason is able to rip people in half with his bare hands.
He's able to crush a skull.
Yeah, he's able to crush a skull. Like, Michael is able to crush somebody's skull by stomping on it. Jason is strong enough that he can just slam two people's heads together and completely crush both of their skulls.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, we see more strength feats from Jason that are more impressive.
Well, that's because Jason's always
Michael
portrayed as, like,
Myers
this
can
hulking
toss
guy.
Busta Rhymes across a room. Jason picks up a dude, I think, in Freddy vs. Jason, who is impaled on a spear and fucking throws him like 100 feet into the air.
He threw Freddy 100 feet in the air or something.
Hey,
yeah, and there's also a scene in one of the comics where he's fighting some fucking soldiers on a playground, and one of the soldiers is standing on a seesaw. He stomps on it hard enough to send the dude like 100 feet in the air.
You know what I think is also important? It's like,
this is where Duck Toss comes from for context for that. One of those little spring riding toys. It's like a rocking horse you see on a playground.
I knew it was the
it's
helicopter
a little duck toy. He rips it off, and then he throws it at a helicopter mid-flight. It breaks through the windshield, crushes the head of the dude driving it, and then the helicopter starts flaming before it even hits the ground. And similarly, I think in this same comic run, it might even be the same issue, he takes a decapitated head, throws it through a windscreen, kills the driver, and takes down another helicopter, which... that's 2 more helicopters than Michael's ever taken down. I also want to compare the groups of people they have taken out. Michael, in his time as a killer, has survived being shot by a horde of townsfolk. He has taken down mobs that have gathered to kill him. He cleared out an entire police station, albeit off screen. He's taken out a horde of doctors, a horde of firefighters. Meanwhile, Jason has done some of those things as well. But Jason frequently, throughout both movies and comics, takes out entire like FBI and special ops teams sent specifically to kill him, like trained killers, mercenaries, policemen, military soldiers.
Didn't the squad of HBI people totally blow him up and Jason goes to hell?
Yeah, that happened once. That was.
But like, there are so many instances. There are so many instances of special ops, police force members, like entire squads of mercenaries and shit, fucking demons trying to kill Jason, and Jason just powers through them. Like, the hordes of people Jason has fought through are far more impressive, and Michael has taken his fair share of being shot a lot, but Jason has taken not only more impressive bullets at closer range. I think the most impressive gunfire we have seen Michael take is the hail of bullets he takes before he falls into a mine shaft at the end of Halloween 4.
4, yeah, it's 4.
And we have seen Jason not only take those same kind of gunning downs. I think he takes one like that in Ghost to Hell.
Well, no, in Ghost to Hell, that straight up kills him because they blow him up.
That's right.
No, it doesn't kill him. It puts him in the worm state. It puts him in worm state.
It makes him a worm, but the bullets are not what kill him. And also, Jason has just survived firing squads like fucking 8 times in the comics. He's also survived close-range shotgun blasts, assault rifles, SMGs, grenades.
Like, here's something I think is important to mention, though, is that they both survive a lot of similar stuff, but Jason gets up way quicker than Michael does. Michael's got like this weird recharge period where if you knock him down, he's out for a while.
Consistently, even taking like a few rounds from a pistol will knock Michael down for at least a couple minutes. Like, he'll always get back up from it.
Like a sewing needle, like stabbing with a sewing needle.
Like a fucking sewing needle. Like he's taken more shit than that. Like he gets the shit beat out of him, but it always keeps him down. Most of the shit that I'm saying both Michael and Jason have survived, it knocked Michael down or put him out of commission for a while. Meanwhile, Jason just fucking keeps going.
And also. Jason's a much better fighter. And Freddy vs. Jason, we saw him throw down to Freddy. He was trading blows. When Michael gets in a fight, he gets his ass kicked by Busta Rhymes and is just made a fool
Michael
of.
Did get his ass kicked by... I will say though, Jason did kind of catch the hands from Tommy Jarvis at least once.
Yeah.
But Corey Cunningham recently kicked Michael's ass, and that was pathetic. Michael wrestled out of his head. He wrestled the mask out of Michael's head, and Michael just sad and just was like, oh man.
I also want to note, and this is just this isn't important to this fight at all because this won't be a factor in this debate. It won't even show up in the episode. I just think it's interesting that both of them are immune to pepper spray. It just doesn't work on them.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a very specific thing they share, but like capsaicin just does not affect them. It
No,
doesn't
I
hurt.
can't wait for that point in the fight where Michael pulls out his patented pepper spray and puts it on Jason, and he realizes, wait a minute, he's got a fucking mask on.
Both have also shown resistance to corrosive substances. In Takes Manhattan, it seems like the toxic waste that Jason gets thrown on him from a barrel and gets flooded out in the sewers is melting him, but he does show a degree of resistance to it.
And he
Michael
just comes
gets
back
stabbed
in the next movie with no reason.
Michael, I think, gets stabbed with 2 syringes of just corrosive acid. That's just all it is. Why it's sitting there in the lab, what purpose it has, and why it's in a lab that has syringes in it is beyond me. But he lives. It doesn't kill him.
But then he gets his ass kicked by Paul Rudd.
There's also both of them have survived plenty of falls, but where Michael will survive a fall of like 10 feet or from the second story of a building, Jason got tackled off a mountain and just got back up in one of the comics.
What?
Like, it's not like the fucking...
Didn't Jason also fight Leatherface?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a Jason vs. Leatherface comic, I think.
Yeah.
So he can scale to Leatherface.
Scale to Leatherface.
Holding a chainsaw. Could Leatherface beat Michael? Someone should
Probably
research.
not. But that's probably a closer debate.
It's probably.
Yeah,
I think Michael. I think Michael.
Actually, I don't know if it's closer.
I
I feel like Michael would just outstat Leatherface. From what I know.
I want to just for a minute, like,
Michael's got some comparable stuff.
This is like, I think the consistently strongest Michael Myers, at least in terms of like consistent physical showings, is the zombie timeline
Obviously,
Michael,
look at it.
who gives his best lifting feat of flipping a car and like fucking tackles Loomis through a wall. And breaks through walls. Meanwhile, like,
if you were to put all the different incarnations of Michael in the line together, gee, I wonder which one stands out as probably the strongest.
The strongest Michael then is fucking novel Michael.
Well, yeah,
novel Michael, but
you
like,
can't really
at
put
least
him in
going
a
by the
lineup.
movies.
This is a bunch of text.
But like, even comparing this, like comparing fucking flipping cars, not only did Jason flip it from the long end and fucking like lift it over him, and like the tire was also fucking revving against his chest. He then survived that car exploding on him. Meanwhile, Michael barely flipped the car and had to roll it down a hill.
Yeah. Just Jason. Jason's just so much stronger.
You've also got the difference of like, and this is such a low scale difference between them, but consistently Michael has to throw a few punches at a door or a window before he can fucking break it. Meanwhile, in like his third, or like, I guess Jason's like second movie as a killer, he just walks through doors.
Yeah, he walks through doors. He doesn't give a shit.
He just fucking walks through a door. Also, I want to point out that when Michael got both of his eyes shot out, and he regenerates his eyes a lot of times, he had been shot like 13 times that night, because that movie takes place the same night the first Halloween does.
Oh yeah, he ate a lot of lead that night.
Loomis shoots him 6 times in the first movie, I think 5 times after that, and then Laurie shoots him twice. I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. I shot him 6 times. Another impressive strength feat for Michael is he moves like a countertop that is specifically like over a bunker door meant to keep him out, and he just fucking rips the thing off and flips it anyway. Compare that to fucking. I don't think we've even mentioned this yet. Jason's most impressive lifting feat is in Freddy vs. Jason, and this is a Dream World feat. So this
we
take
don't
this
know.
with
I don't know how to
contention.
take this.
This is a Dream World feat, but you could also argue that since Jason wouldn't be aware of Dream World powers or necessarily like know how to use them, or just by the merit that Jason has super strength to begin with, that it's still a valid feat, whether you want to use it or not, or whether Death Battle wants to use it or not is completely like subjective, open to interpretation. That's just how scaling goes. But Freddy drops a boiler on Jason in Jason vs. Freddy. In the novelization, that boiler is stated to be over 10 tons, which is on average about 5 times heavier than the car that Michael flipped.
Yeah, and Jason didn't just flip it.
And yeah, not only did Jason fucking tossed that thing to the side. He didn't just
casually, like, clearly they use a really crappy prop.
Yeah, like, you just fucking, like, brushes it off. There's also, and this is a smaller lifting feat for Jason, in the novelization of 4, I think. He's chasing someone. It's either like 4 or 6, I want to say. He's chasing someone and starts tossing around hay bales, which doesn't sound that impressive, but the novel goes out of its way explicitly to state that he is doing it with very little effort and that each hay bale is several hundred pounds.
Yeah, so I think we've basically established Jason Voorhees is gonna win this fight.
I think
but
this is a really good chance, a good point to maybe tear Jason down a little bit. He does not scale to Freddy like his full power in the dream world.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't scale to fucking.
I've seen
dream
people
world
bring that up
Freddy.
and bring up like when Freddy tossed the house into space in that one movie. I forget which one, and they
that was the Freddy's Dead.
Yeah, that name aged well. Anyway. They try to scale him to that because like that's calc is really impressive. They try to scale Jason to that. They try to scale like Jason to all of Freddy's like attack potency feats.
You can't do that.
Jason was getting fucking destroyed when Freddy was actually giving it a go. I don't think Jason will scale any more than like that one kid in what was it, Nightmare 3 with the spells who like
I'm the Dream Master.
He, like did some shit. It was like no, Freddy was just fucking playing with him. Like absolutely not.
Yeah, Freddy. If Freddy wanted to, he could have just obliterated Jason. That's not how Freddy operates. He likes to have fun. He likes to play.
And no, Michael would not beat Jason with a glass of water. That fear thing was bullshit.
No, come on. No, that's how Michael wins. That's how Michael wins.
Yeah, the fight starts in a kitchen, so Michael can get his knife.
Jason's not a good swimmer, so he pushes him in the water.
Fucking Jason is such a good swimmer. Jason swam all the way from like wherever the fuck he was to Manhattan. And also we've seen him like, I forget what movie it's in. There's a clip of him just coming up out of the water like a fucking motorboat, just fucking gliding along the water.
How many movies has ended with Jason just jumping out of the water?
Like,
oh yeah.
It's such a stupid thing of like Jason can absolutely swim. He's
Literally,
in
Freddy versus Jason, where that weakness exists, it ends with Jason walking out of the water, doesn't it?
He's walking out of the water. He's getting away from it.
But he wasn't like running out, like, oh shit, I can't be in there. Oh god.
That would be so funny though. Jason was flailing around. Like, oh, get out of here!
Jojo runs out.
Another humorous feat for Jason is there's a scene where a portal has been opened up, I assume to hell, in Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, that is sucking Freddy into the portal, it's sucking Ash into the portal, and it's even sucking a car into the portal, but Jason is just standing there, not being pulled by it. I want to note, Jason, at his official Freddy vs. Jason weigh-ins, I believe was cited at 275 pounds. Yeah. And this is a real thing. There was an official promotional weigh-in for Freddy vs. Jason.
I remember.
Jason at least weighs over 250 pounds. Why he was not being sucked into the same portal that at least a 1-ton car was is beyond me. I just think that's a funny thing to note. And also another fucking like.
What are you guys hoping to see in this fight? What do you want to?
I'm hoping to see a lot of shit.
Like I said, the first person shot's the big thing I want.
Okay. Before we move into this, I have one last comparison. And once more, this will not play a factor into the debate. I just think it's a funny point of comparison.
Okay. Yeah.
Where Loomis shoots Michael with 4 tranquilizer darts. They don't work. And I assume this is like human level tranquilizer because I don't assume fucking Loomis just had like horse tranquilizer on him.
Loomis was fucking crazy. He could have done anything in that moment. He was going nuts.
But
Loomis was crazy.
In one of the comics, Jason is absolutely fucking riddled with tranq darts. I'm talking like he gets like shot 20 times with tranquilizer darts. And before this, the people that are shooting Jason are given express permission. This isn't to say this is exactly how much tranquilizer was used. This is just to say this could be how much tranquilizer was used. They were authorized to use, and I quote, enough tranquilizer to put down a whale to shoot Jason with, and it didn't work.
Oh my god.
But then in Freddy vs. Jason, don't tranks work?
They do. They do work. Freddy got some tranquilizers and they work just fine. But
those are Freddy tranquilizers.
Yeah, they're Freddy. They're patented Freddy tranquilizers, bound to work on anybody, and even whales. You can trust me.
I mean, that's just the feat for Freddy, is that he
Yeah,
can
it's-
tranquilize
Freddy
someone with
is a-
more than enough required to take down a whale.
When
Holy
Freddy
shit, I
possesses
can't
someone,
believe
he can
Freddy
take
Krueger
normal
beat Moby Dick.
tranquilizers and imbue them with Freddy power to make them even better.
He puts Freddy juice in
Do you
him.
think he can
Yeah,
put
yeah,
that
yeah.
on his
Freddy,
Do
no, that Freddy juice.
you think he can put that on like the syringe glove and like just go around doing
Well,
that to everyone?
this was in the real world. He had to possess this dude who was
Yeah,
like Jay.
this is just a silly one in Kills when he's taking down firefighters. They fucking point a fire hose at him and shoot him, and he just walks through it.
Yeah,
Which
water resistance. Thank you very much.
well, no, because like a fire hose would like, if for a normal person, probably knock you off your feet or give you like a fucking whiplash. Like a fire hose is not light, and he just fucking walks through it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
No, I saw a child survive that in
Michael.
UHF, so I mean, you know, I feel like it's not that impressive.
Okay, so did we want to say what we're hoping to see in this fight?
I've already like said it
yeah,
in a
sure.
video before. Like
Oh, okay.
If you remember the video where you recorded for Chucky versus Slappy,
Yes, I remember.
yeah, it came right after that was Jason Michael. I'm pretty sure.
Well, what did you want to see, Ecto? Since Nemesis already said everything he wants to see.
I think he did
Being
too.
that the original Halloween is just one of my favorite movies ever. Michael is my favorite slasher character ever. And being that I fucking just love the Halloween franchise as a whole, I do also like Friday the 13th. I don't want that to be misconstrued. But
Yeah.
I'm very Team Michael in this. What I want to see is Michael win. I know he won't, but but also some shit like I would love to see an exchange of Michael's iconic head tilt versus like that later era Friday Jason like heavy breathing.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to just see those aspects of the characters put into it. I'd love to see like the way the fight starts is like obviously the way everyone recommends the fight start is by like one of them is chasing a victim and the other one comes in. Specifically the way that I hope it would work, or the way like I would hope they would include in some way, is like Jason is chasing down somebody, and then as he's chasing them down, they think they've gotten away, and like maybe Jason rounds the corner, and then Michael just appears from the shadows and fucking like pins him to a wall.
Yeah, like you can like reference the shot in the original Halloween where you only see his mask in the darkness.
Yeah, where he just like fucking comes out of the shot. It's such a cool shot, and
Yeah,
I
it
think they had a
is.
scene like that in 2018 as well. I
Yeah,
think
it's not as good. It's not as good in
it's not as good, but
Well, that
like
movie's not as
just
good.
that like that emphasis on Michael's stealth is it's so cool. Obviously, I want to see use of like Jason's iconic like.
Oh yeah.
And I want the track to incorporate something of the original John Carpenter Halloween theme, because it's
Oh,
the most
yeah.
iconic thing about
Absolutely.
Halloween. There are like plenty of references I'd love to see. I'd love to see references to some of their kills and throw them at each other. I'd love to see a moment
Yeah,
of
I wanted like a sleeping bag reference where like he takes Michael by the legs and swings him on a tree.
yeah, just fucking slaps him against a tree.
And then Michael Michael can just get back up, do his
Right.
classic when he gets up.
But like,
So do we all want the fight to take place in like a house urban setting?
I kind of wanted to
Yeah.
take place at Crystal Lake. But
I think-
that's-
I
yeah,
think that would
I
work too.
I wouldn't mind it being.
That
it would give him access to more weapons, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it being that it takes place in one of like the lakeside houses, like in Friday 4, where
it could
it's like
still
a
be
house.
Yeah, you could like combine
It's
the
like
two ideas.
if I recall
Yeah.
correctly, in Friday 4, there are two houses next to each other that Jason goes between. There's the one that Tommy's staying in, and there's the one that the teenagers are staying in. And maybe have Michael raiding one of them, Jason raiding the other, and then like the fight can start in a house and have like narrow hallways and like that kind of fucking more Halloween feel about it. Of
Yeah.
every Halloween movie is at its strongest when someone is being chased through a house. I fucking love the cinematography of
Yeah.
Halloween 1 of like it makes the setting of the house so clear. It makes it clear where everything is, where everything's taking place. And by the end of the movie, when it cuts to all of the different parts of the house, you know exactly what happened here. We've been here before. I want them to take it from that more I guess rural feeling like thing that Halloween has, and then take it maybe into the woods to make it more of a Friday scenario, and then end off like maybe on a dock. Like it's very cliche for Friday,
I
but
can also see ending with the house going up in flames and they're fighting in the
Yeah,
burning
that
building.
was my idea.
yeah,
I
can
think
see
that'd
that
be
as
more
well.
cool to have
think-
them being surrounded by fire.
Like I like the idea because like everyone wants like a really gory kill. I could also see it ending like with just a shot of them in the house, while it's burning down, and instead
And
of
still
seeing the
trying to
kill,
destroy each other.
we see the winner come out carrying like the leftover remains of the loser, just dragging it along as they
Both
approach
could
the
work.
camera.
Although I'm kind of
Like,
pulling for the goriest kill on the, but I don't think you can. It's gonna be hard to
Yeah.
do the goriest kill on Death
I
Battle.
think
There's
it's
so
difficult
many.
because specifically the Homelander one is so over the top. I feel like that
Yeah.
sort of ridiculously over the top gore would almost be a bit off putting. Because like,
Michael, you don't need that much to kill Michael. You don't gotta go that far.
and it's not like that gore is super common in Halloween. Like they're not.
Yeah, that's more of a Friday the 13th thing, and even then, the censors made sure that it couldn't ever get that gory.
Yeah.
And Michael has only like in sort of recent times become like over the top, fucking lopping off heads, breaking jaws
Yeah.
open, fucking like cutting people's like fucking
Okay, actually,
ears off or some shit.
so Nemesis, you're saying you want that to be the death of where it's like coming out with like a body part. Let's say what Ecto, what do you want the death to be? What would be the death?
I don't know if this is the one I specifically am pulling for, but it's just an idea I had of like maybe they take the fight to a dock and like Michael is pressing Jason a little bit. He gets him to the edge of the dock and like maybe Michael like sticks his knife in Jason's eye and it like cracks his mask a little bit and he fucking makes Jason fall back into the water and he just looks down into the water with a head tilt and he sees like the bubbles like maybe stop from where Jason is. And as he walks off, maybe as he turns around, Jason is there with his like machete raised up, about to strike. It has like an MKX fatality type. Like it plays the Halloween stinger. It plays the like Michael Myers fucking sting sound effect that's in every Halloween movie.
He meant like he was just there.
Oh,
yeah,
Bursting
turns
through the dock
around.
is not super fitting.
Yeah, no, I think it would be cool if like he thinks he's dead and then Michael turns around, Jason's right there. It plays the Halloween sting sound effect. And then like maybe have Michael give like a kind of cheesy like surprise, like as surprised as a fucking masked face can look.
Are you Michael?
But then like Jason just fucking like cleaves his fucking head in half or some shit like that. Like I just want the ending to involve one of them appearing behind the other after they think they've got the kill secured.
I am pulling for a for digging just a little head crush. That's I want this good. Put his thumbs in the eyes so we get the bleeding Michael eyes from Halloween 2. That can be referenced. And then he goes,
Yeah, I like that.
even further and crushes his head. That's what I'll pull for.
You know, if we want a really gory kill, let's just say James A. Janice is in there and he dies in the fight.
James A. Janice, that'd be great. If James A. Janice was in there.
Yeah, I would be so happy if he was somehow in
That'd
there.
be great. Also put James Rolfe in there. Just to add two James. Two horror James get killed.
Talking about these characters, and this is a little aside from the fight. In Search of Darkness Part 3 is coming out, and it's really cool, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too.
But James A. Janice, at least so far, I don't believe has been confirmed to be in this one. He was in the last two. James Rolfe is in all three of them. But if James A. Janice isn't in the third one, I'm going to be a little sad. Like, Gene Simmons is going to be in the third one, and I fucking love me some Gene Simmons.
I mean, he basically is a horror monster.
I mean, like, there are so many people in Search of Darkness that just, like, are not fucking horror people at all. Like, fucking Alex Winter, you've got, I guess Slipknot to an extent is, but you've got Corey Taylor.
Well, Alex Winter is probably because Lost Boys.
Yeah.
I feel like with
I don't know, because
whole like image, I feel Corey Taylor fits.
I've only
Corey
seen
Taylor
the first
was in
Bill and Ted.
Nostalgia Critics The Wall, and that's the best horror movie ever made.
I've only seen the first Bill and Ted, so I associate Alex Winter by default with Benson Reach Against Time.
I still only I associate he's Bill. This is Bill. So have we basically described this? Are we done here? Got anything else to say?
No, I mean, we sort of.
No, I think it's a pretty. I think it's a
How
pretty
long
open
is this?
showcase.
How long has this been?
Nah, it's only been an hour and a bit. It's on the shorter end right now. It's on the shorter end right now.
Yeah, I mean these prediction videos are usually pretty fucking long. I think to summarize it, and not counting Uber Jason scaling, the stats shouldn't be all that far apart, but Jason is generally stronger. They're at a similar range of durability.
It's
Michael's
not
faster and smarter, but
it's just a Jason victory.
Yeah, but like what ultimately I think would give Jason the win is that consistently he is stronger, so he'd probably be able to overpower Michael, and also his resurrection and just insane regeneration are going to give him the win. Where even if Michael can put some sort of meaningful damage on him, it's just not going to kill him. Where if Jason can get like a good fucking if he can get a good shot on Michael's head, fucking stab him through the heart, if he can lop his head off, there's plenty of things Jason could do that will kill Michael. Because
Yes.
as durable and resilient as Michael is, he's not immortal.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just had an idea.
That's
What
the content.
you know the sleeping bag? Well, like when Jason like grabs Michael's like ankle and slams him against a tree. What if
Yeah.
he leaves a smiley face of blood on the tree after doing that?
Yeah, leave the smiley face from broken parts. That stupid ass kill.
It's so
I have seen people say that they want as a follow-up episode Tommy Jarvis versus Laurie Strode, which I think is a stupid idea, and I don't think that's good.
Tommy Jarvis and Laurie Strode.
Yeah, like they're just fucking regular people.
Tommy's kind of fucking fit in part 5. I think he could suplex
Tommy's
her.
fit and Tommy can fight, and like Laurie has guns, but really they're just fucking normal people, and there'd be
Tommy's got
no
a
reason
gun.
for them to fight.
Tommy's got a gun. Yeah, what would the setup be?
The-
You're hiding Michael Myers. No, I'm not.
The whole fight is literally just them running through the house trying to escape the Jason versus Michael fight.
Who?
But no, but could Tommy Jarvis take on Sam Loomis?
Oh, there's the question. Well, that depends. Which
He's a
Sam
fucking
Loomis? If it's
beast.
Thor,
He
if
survived
it's
that
Thorn
explosion
timeline
too.
Sam Loomis, then no, because Thorn timeline Loomis is completely unhinged.
Yeah, I think Thorn Lewis would kick his ass. He'd he'd trap him in a chain, start beating him with a stick, and say, "Die, die."
Hit him with a tranquilizer. Fucking
You don't want to
Sam,
fuck with
let's play
Loomis.
catch the little girl, Loomis.
Catch the little girl, Michael.
Let's play catch the little girl, Michael.
So, in this death battle, evil dies tonight. Evil will die tonight. That's what we can agree on.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what Michael is.
Yeah.
By all metrics, Michael is more evil than Jason, because, like, what I like more about Michael, at least, is that where Jason is actually motivated by something, not, like, reasonable means to go around murdering people, but he does have a motivation. Michael's just fucking evil.
Yeah. I mean, Jason spares kids. Michael killed that kid in 2018.
I think there's
He
a
killed
Michael
that kid.
spared a baby,
There's a comic.
but
that makes it
Michael
very
also
clear.
kills several children, kills and eats several dogs, and kills several, like, elderly people, and fucking... to be
Jason
fair...
is the hero. Jason's the hero of
to
this
be
death
fair,
battle.
I don't think Jason has ever killed a disabled, or I don't think Michael has ever killed a disabled person, but Jason has.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
What if we get one
Fucking-
moment that's like making fun of like the shitty 3D, like where Jason like
Yeah,
Jason
I
Michael
want,
put
I
the
want the
other guy-
shitty 3D.
There's like a reference
My
to that.
roommate brings up how stupid the fucking wheelchair kill is, not just because of the way the fucking machete lodges into his head and he goes dook 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 dook
He
down the
was
stairs.
the wrong side of the machete.
Yeah, no, it's also he's in a wheelchair. How the fuck did he get up those stairs?
Jason uses the wrong side of the machete that entire film. He like slit
He
someone's
uses
neck
the wrong side
way.
of the machete in several films. There's a
That's a-
scene where he
that's a
fucking like
feat.
slits someone's throat with the back of the machete.
That's a feat.
It's
for
better to
Jason.
do it this way.
Oh my god, Jason versus Kenshin. They both use the wrong side of the sword. Or the blade.
So we can all agree, Jason is the hero of this match. Really, he's the most lovable guy.
I
He's gonna
mean-
win. He's gonna save everybody.
Yeah.
The question is, like, it's not a question of who's going to win. Jason's going to win. The question is, when is Death Battle going to do Roy Burns versus Corey Cunningham?
Yeah, Roy versus Corey Cunningham. I think Roy could actually kick his ass. I think Roy could
Yeah,
do
Roy
it.
would probably fucking murder
He
Corey.
actually
But
burst through a door in that movie. Even though he's just a human, he bursts through a door like Jason would.
well, if I remember, he also like rips the fucking door off a police car or something.
Yeah, Roy would kick Corey's ass. I kind of want to do Roy Burns, Corey Cunningham on Multiverse match. Because I was going to do Jason Michael if it wasn't Death Battle. So maybe this could be what I do instead is Roy Burns. versus Corey.
Yeah, I mean,
Cunningham.
I'd watch it. I'd fucking promote it to everyone I could.
Don't worry,
It'd be funny.
I'll do Jason versus Michael, so you don't have to.
For you don't have to. Now, see, here's what's gonna happen. I would do Corey Cunningham versus Roy Burns, and you would do Tommy Jarvis versus Sam Loomis from the Foreign timeline, and so we all get our Halloween versus Friday the 13th matches.
Oh my
And
god.
And I'll be
have
here
to.
too.
Yeah. All right, so that it is that we have our fun.
I mean, I'm still having fun.
Oh, I have no frame of reference. I don't know how long these go.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time with both predictions and reactions, we'll fucking record all our shit, and then sometimes we just go on for another fucking
Go
hour and
on?
a half. Just like,
Well then, hey, I've
essentially
got a question for
podcasting.
both of you guys.
Yeah.
I got a question. What's your preferred Friday the 13th? And what's your preferred Halloween? Not the original Halloween. What's the best one for you? What is your favorite of the two franchises?
Okay.
For Halloween, I'm gonna have to say 2018. I really really like 2018.
2018.
If I'm gonna say favorite, okay. When I say favorite, this is not the best. This is far from the best.
Yeah.
I have a
Yes, your favorite.
I have a real soft spot for the first Rob Zombie film for Halloween.
First Rob Zombie. I grew
fair.
up with it. I've got feelings towards it, but like I can see why you'd like it.
It's not
that's
good.
completely fair.
It's not good by any
I will
stretch of the
say-
imagination.
There are some scenes that Rob Zombie does that, like, because Rob Zombie loves to shoot his films like a music video that look really cool. Like the scene of him flipping the car with like the John Carpenter style like light in the background.
Yeah.
That's just like it looks so cool. He's very good at making Michael look fucking big and terrifying and cool.
I would say my favorite Halloween is H2O. Like besides the original, H2O is my favorite. I like it a lot.
That's also fair. I think H2O is pretty solid.
Yeah, I think if Halloween 2, and H2O is my preferred timeline. Ignoring Resurrection, it didn't happen.
Now, for Friday,
Friday.
I don't know if this is allowed or a cop-out. I'm going to have to say Freddy vs. Jason. I really like that movie.
Sure, go for it. Freddy vs. Jason.
I'm not going much better. Jason X. I love Jason X. It's it's so dumb.
Like,
I love it.
as much of a kind of stupid movie as Freddy vs. Jason is, like, I love that it is this big celebration and that it's the culmination of fucking years of trying to get it to happen.
It was
It's
a
so
fucking
fun.
event.
Yeah, it's an event. And also, like, it does such a good job at making both characters look cool. Like, one of the coolest shots Jason has ever had is just him on fire walking through a cornfield leaving a trail of flames behind him. It's so fucking cool.
And, like, you know what? As much as they, like, struggle to come up with a good script, like there's so many variations, this script they ended up with, they have a very good way to connect these characters.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the lore fits perfectly. Like, he'd resurrect Jason to get more people to fear Freddy.
But how does he have the power
Yeah, and I
to
love
do
how one of
that
the
if no one
characters
sees
finds
it?
that out and then just, like, verbatim pretty much says, so Freddy must have grown weaker because the people of Springwood forgot about him. So he resurrected Jason to make people fear him
water.
again.
How do we use that?
Dark meat.
I remember.
I think
Where did
my
that rank
favorite
for Friday?
Friday. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you first.
Okay, my favorite Friday is I think I like 7 of the telekinetic teenager. I think that was just a lot of fun seeing him pit against the character of telekinesis. But also, I'm torn between that and 6, which is the comedic one.
I think New Blood, just like, Jason looks really cool in New Blood. New Blood introduces a lot of really cool
That's the
concepts
coolest
and
Jason to
visuals.
me. His coolest look. He's covered in chains and like he's like dripped in water. You can see like his spine or something. You can see like his
Yeah, his
back.
fucking mask is all fucked up.
Yeah, I love it, and I love when the mask comes off.
Yeah, when she when Tina squeezes his head and like fucking pus starts to come out. Oh, that's something I didn't fucking bring up. It is an older version of Tina in the comics, but in the movie, Tina tries to crush Jason's head. Like, she throws a bunch of shit at him, but she also tries to crush his head with telekinesis. This is the same Tina that's able to lift and throw a fucking tank.
Oh, and she couldn't crush that head.
Like in Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, Ash looks at a tank and says, "Can you lift that?" She goes, "I don't know, I've never tried," and then she does and throws it.
No, that
what were you
brings
saying, Nemesis?
that. I just thought something. We need to have a point in the fight where Jason loses the mask. Like that's.
Oh
that's,
yes, yeah.
that's
We
like a
gotta see
consistent
zombie
thing.
Jason.
We gotta see
have to
the
see zombie
rancid face of Jason Voorhees.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
want
even
to see
think it
that
would be that much of a
gross-ass
stand
face.
for Michael to lose his mask. Like even if we just see like a behind the head shot, like something I really like because it was a consistent enough thing in previous Halloween timelines for Michael to lose his mask, and we just see his face.
You see,
It happens a lot
you get
more
like a
often than
glimpse
you'd
of
think
it.
it would.
You
What
get
I
a
like a
glimpse.
lot, what I like a lot more than that is in the final timeline. Michael loses or just doesn't have his mask a lot. We see his face very blatantly a lot, but it's always out of focus. It's always kind of blurry or in the
Yeah.
background or viewed from behind. So as much as we see his face, who Michael is still such an enigma. And despite the fact we see his face so often, they still manage to make it that like that mask is Michael's face.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I like to keep it out of focus like a lot of the times.
It,
Like
it
in that
really
one.
it really says something when this mask has become so synonymous with his face, even after you show it so much that in Halloween Kills, when he's fighting one of the girls that he I think it was the girl he tried to murder as a kid in the first Halloween movie. She fucking like tries to fucking pull his mask off and is like fucking scrunching it and like moved it a bunch of weird ways. And I fucking laughed so hard because it looked so cartoony. Just because, like, in my mind, that's just fucking Michael's face stretching and being all fucking weird like that.
Oh my god. Imagine in the conclusion, for some reason they decide to scale who's got the stronger mask. Like, no real reason.
I'm back.
They're just comparing what's stronger between this flimsy Shatner mask and a hockey mask.
Oh my god.
Like, so Max, when you did like those videos like ranking versus movies, where did Freddy Jason go? Because I don't remember.
I don't remember. I remember being in the higher tier, like maybe it was like 4 or 5. But I personally had put it as my number 1 favorite best versus movie.
Oh, I know you
We
would.
were all doing our personal ranking.
I know you definitely would.
Yeah, because I just fucking love it. It's
About
great
that
to
as
see
well.
Freddy.
Did you rank Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong?
He did.
We did rank it pretty fucking low.
I swear it was at the bottom.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was the very bottom.
Like, obviously. I don't think you did Godzilla versus
Like
Mothra,
that movie's
though.
so bad, but just the
You
fact
did
that it
Godzilla
exists
versus
is just
King
a
Kong.
Yeah, I know you
novelty.
did Godzilla King Kong. You didn't do Godzilla Mothra, though. That was a crossover when it happened.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, because, like, 1954 is Godzilla, the first movie, and I think 1958 was Mothra, and then
Mothra was its own franchise.
Yeah. And there's even been set like a Heisei era of Mothra that's completely unrelated to Godzilla with the Mothra Leo trilogy. So Mothra is its own thing that's just part of the Toho like cinematic universe, I guess. I've actually gone and said that the Showa era of Godzilla is the first cinematic universe. I can't think of anyone that predates. Oh no, the second.
Universal.
Second.
Universal Monsters.
Yeah, the Universal Monsters.
After it's the second one after Universal Monsters, but it's also the biggest one that is not the MCU. Is the Godzilla Show era. There's like 30 odd films in it. Is a lot.
You know, since you mentioned Ginger Dead Man, can I get both of your support for Ginger Dead Man versus Jack Frost as a Christmas death battle?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Come on, everybody. Come on. Well, it ain't fucking Frosty.
I also do want to know, like, in this discussion and just talking about fucking Jason in general, like, Michael is not a stranger to crossovers. He's shown up in plenty of crossovers before, and even recently in this shit like Dead by Daylight. But Jason has so much crossover scaling and scaling to supernatural shit or like sci-fi shit. Jason's like far ends are so much more bizarre, and the people he scales to are so much more like insane. Meanwhile, like
when
Michael scales to maybe
been
a
in a
cop or
crossover
two.
other than Dead by Daylight? When has he done anything other than Dead by Daylight?
Was there not a fucking cross promotion with Call of Duty? I think?
Was it?
That sounds.
They should do what I did with Ghostface and include it in the analysis.
I think something like that. And I feel like there has to at least be like one other fucking like sort of cross promotion or something like that with Michael Myers.
Lately, there was an ad with him and Chucky. Him and Chucky are carving a pumpkin.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I mentioned
met
there was
Chucky.
the cancelled Hellraiser crossover.
I fucking wish they made that. I wish they made that.
I don't
so
even know how that
funny.
would work. Like,
No,
How-
Michael opens the box and the Cenobites come and they include Michael in his gas.
fucking,
I just don't know
it
how.
is confusing to me as a fan of shit from a behind the scenes perspective, from a story perspective, as just a horror fan in general. You could not pick, like, you probably could, but just to exaggerate for the sake of proving my point, you could not pick two less tonally similar horror franchises than Hellraiser and Halloween.
The Conjuring and Hellraiser.
What sweet suffering.
Like, what one is about fucking gore, fucking avant-garde art shit, and fucking weird-looking demons, and the other is about a dude in a William Shatner mask just stalking the same neighborhood for 40 years.
In a perfect world, we would have got Michael Pinhead, we would have got Candyman Leprechaun, we would have got all the canceled versus movies, and it would all lead to a big tournament. Terrordrome the movie.
I've got a page up here. Michael Myers has crossed over with Carol Annie from Poltergeist, and with a
What? No, hold on, no, explain.
In an ad for Halloween Horror Nights 28, Michael Myers appears alongside Carol Annie from Poltergeist. In another ad, he also appears alongside a Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It's not as crazy as it seems. But how would you set up a fight, a 1v1 with Pinhead? Like, I don't know how that works. 'Cause, like, the moment he starts up shit, Leviathan's just gonna go, no, fuck off.
I think you just gotta, maybe Leviathan is sleeping that day.
Actually, ma'am, I think you'll find that if you just implement the rule no outside help and just set it so like, okay, Leviathan, don't intervene, just let him fight it out like men, then, you know, he's a pretty respectable
If they
guy.
were
He
to
might
use
abide by the
Pinhead.
rules.
He's
If they were to
Satan!
use Pinhead in Death Battle, they'd probably just ignore Leviathan or put him in a
It's-
universe where Leviathan.
It's weird. I don't understand
Doesn't
how
exist? I don't
how
know.
it works. Because, like, for you to face Pinhead, number one, you got to open the box, easy. Number two, you got to be lucky enough to be given Pinhead's group. Number three, you're going to be automatically sent to hell and put into a hell loop. Number four, you're going to not be dealing with just Pinhead, but also all of his mates, of which the only consistent one is Chatterer. And then number five, Leviathan's going to be
I get
watching the
that.
whole
Those
thing.
are like the rules of the movie, but I don't think Death Battle would take that into play.
It's
I think
weird,
they're
'cause, like,
just Pinhead.
it doesn't make sense to not do that. It's like ignoring everything about Pinhead. It doesn't.
Dead by Daylight, Pinhead's alone.
So, like,
Yeah, but that's stupid.
No, he's alone.
If-
You can use it.
That's
Horror movies are
stupid.
stupid.
we
They're like-
have, like, I would love to see art of this, and if we have anyone that can just fucking crank out art like that, or is just a fucking wants to take a crack at it in the audience, I'd love to see an image recreating the original Doom poster of just Michael Myers fighting off a horde of Cenobites, just fucking trying to raid their
Fighting for
fucking
that.
Hey,
realm,
Max, you're an
just
artist.
like going through, just murdering a bunch of Cenobites.
I gotta draw all the fucking Cenobites. I don't want to do that.
Just draw like Chatterer a bunch of times. That's the
I don't
only
want to
one.
draw Butterball.
But Butterball's awesome.
Draw the big
Butterball.
fucking,
Draw
draw
other
the big
one.
fucking worm thing in the hallway from the first
Fucking
Hellraiser.
weird ass worm thing. Hellraiser.
I don't remember what it's
great. I
called.
watched it recently. I watched Hellraiser pretty recently. It was really fun.
Draw Pinhead and also female.
I think the
Pinhead
worst
from
thing about that worm and about the first Hellraiser is that you can just fucking see the trolley they're pushing it on behind it.
So like a thing that happened recently is like I watched Hellraiser and I'm watching Hellraiser 2, although I had to stop in between. I'm starting to become a fan of Freddy Pinhead, although I still prefer Pennywise for Freddy. But I
Yeah.
actually kind of like Freddy Pinhead.
I
It'd
can
be
actually
fun.
see
I
Freddy
wanna
Pinhead.
say-
I can see Freddy Pinhead potentially working actually with Pinhead, because with the way Freddy's
Yeah.
powers works, like I could see like the dream demon sort of interfering with Leviathan. I could actually
Yeah,
see
so there'd be a struggle.
Yeah, there'd be a struggle there, and I could see them like getting rid of the other Senate. So you know what? I think actually Freddy might be the only Pinhead matchup. Now
Yeah.
that you mentioned it, I think
And
actually could work.
I
feel
think
like-
Freddy Pinhead would be just be cool because like Freddy would be hurting Pinhead, but Pinhead would probably get like he'd be into it, and Freddy like, oh, what the fuck?
Oh, what the
Why?
fuck?
You're making this
Say,
weird for
as,
me.
As
I'm
a
not
fan of
having
horror
fun
movie
like this.
practical effects, as a fan of horror movie
sweet
practical effects,
suffering.
both hilariously bad and really good, Hellraiser sequence of dude fucking regenerating from a pile of blood through like a fucking chunk of meat and like his arms
That's the
reforming and the
coolest
veins coming up
shit.
through. It's so fucking cool looking.
The coolest
Definitely.
shit ever. Yeah, this is
Like,
there's
that
a
is
lot
up
of
there
horror.
in probably,
There gotta be more
like,
horror
one
on
of-
Death Battle.
That's one of the best practical effects I've ever seen in a horror movie.
Yeah.
That is like up
Yeah,
there
it
with the
is.
thing.
It's like
It
what
is so good.
what horror matches do we want to see? And I'm saying this knowing that that Max has done a
I
video.
made a whole fucking video on it.
I'll link that in the description. But because
Well, yeah,
I
mainly
expect,
the ones from that.
I expect
Ash
maybe
Herbert, Chucky
maybe
Slappy.
10,000 people odd to see this video, so take the stage. Go share.
So do we say like strictly horror or like horror themed or
I'm gonna say
like
strictly
spooky
horror.
themed?
themed.
If you go with just horror themed, I could just say, "Oh, Godzilla vs. Gamera is my favorite horror matchup." It's like, yeah, the first Godzilla is undeniably a horror movie, but no, it's not a horror matchup.
It's an action franchise at a certain
Okay,
point.
so
Yeah,
try and say strictly
we have
horror.
a child's franchise, but I think the sixth movie I want to say was no, because it was Godzilla Raids Again, Godzilla vs. King Kong vs. Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Mothra. Because I remember it was the first two, the crossovers.
I have Godzilla Raids Again right here on VHS.
I've got it too. I've got the
Oh my
gigantic. I've got
God.
the gigantic.
I also have the first
final
Gamera here on VHS.
I've got that on DVD somewhere. I just lost. Somewhere.
Godzilla Raids Again has the debut of my boy Anguirus.
I think after that was the King Ghidorah films in Invasion Astro Monster, Ghidorah 3-headed monster, and there was like some point after that with like Ebera, Monster of the Deep, and Son of Godzilla where it fully crossed over into children's films. So it went from horror to horror adjacent with Godzilla Raids Again. It's definitely a bit too silly. And then it goes into crossovers, then action, then children's movies for most of the Showa era, then action from then on all the way till now. With the exception of GMK, which is a horror action film.
I would say that both GMK, I would say that GMK is horror, and I would say in an untraditional sense, Shin Godzilla is somewhere like on the border of psychological and like monster horror.
Shin Godzilla is definitely, at least allegorical horror. It definitely is just that.
Fucking horror matchups. Because the first one that comes to mind isn't directly horror, it's just horror themed, is Castlevania Alucard versus Vampire Hunter D, because I fucking love that matchup.
Oh,
but
that's cool.
just...
I want to see that.
Like, that's a really fucking cool matchup, and there's a lot to be said about it, but that's not strictly horror, and there's, frankly, too much to be said about it to fit it within this podcast.
Yeah.
Max, you're the horror boy. What are you rooting for on Death Battle?
It's hard to say matches that I didn't already say in my video. I'm like trying to think of other matches. I stretched myself thin. I fought of 13 matches and talked about them in length, but
I mean, hell, drop a couple you did talk about.
I actually only got to halfway through that video before I had to go do something. I haven't had time to return to it.
Well.
So,
oh my god.
I am gonna finish the video, but hey, that's an excuse for you to share with me.
Okay, where did you stop? I mean, I guess I'll just bring up the ones I like.
Yes.
And I did bring up Jack Frost and Dead Man in that one.
Amazing.
I think I think I like Norman Bates versus Jack Torrance. I think that'd be fun. Just like it'd be a little tricky because they're basic humans. But like I think there's something that can be done there.
That's definitely an interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get
a match that I brought up like that's been sort of it's been catching a little steam lately. People have been bringing it up more. Is Ash Williams versus Herbert West is something I really like. I think it's an Ash match that I like.
I'm strangely in a position where like I'm not fully sold on any of Ash's matchups, and it makes me unhappy.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get the right Ash match.
My favorite one is probably fucking Finn Shepard from Sharknado.
Sharknado.
Well, because because he's so ridiculous. It has a lot of those movies have the energy of Ash vs. the Evil Dead without as much gore and with more sharks. Like, it's complete nonsense, and also he's got a chainsaw. Like,
old Ash versus Reggie from Phantasm. He's got a boomstick as well. He's got a four boomstick.
Ash Williams versus Boomstick.
Oh my god! See now, it's another thing. Ash versus Herbert is horror. Wiz versus Boomstick.
Oh my god!
I have one I recently came up with. I guess I didn't come up with it because there's been comparison between the two since their fucking debuts. Okay. But the Prowler from The Prowler versus the Miner from My Bloody Valentine.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good one.
Ooh.
Because by all means, they're more or less like regular people, but they are some of like the slasher genre's earliest killers, and their setup is similar enough. And like You could do something cool with it. You could just have some cool atmospheric scenes.
I like Angela Baker versus Pamela Voorhees, like Angela from Sleepaway Camp and
Yeah.
just Pamela from the first Friday the
Let me
13th.
go through my fucking thumbnails and see if I have anything cool.
We've already brought up Chucky versus Slappy already. It's
Yes,
like
I brought it up in your video.
yeah, we brought that up several times.
I gotta see it.
Good one. I haven't actually seen the Chucky show at all.
Yeah, it's a good show. Season 2 I'm liking more than season 1. Season 1 had a couple issues for me, but I'm ultimately happy it exists.
Yeah, I just haven't had time to watch a lot of things, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh man. What else is there? God, my mind keeps going to Godzilla. I have to tell myself no.
You can't stop now. Stop going to Godzilla.
The only Godzilla kaiju that counts is Godzilla. Because like if in the only horror-esque Godzilla film with other kaiju is GMK, and they're not horror monsters. Mothra is she's a god always. Baragon is a god of dirt.
What about the Thing versus the T-1000?
I still honestly kind of like that.
I think that makes more sense than what I did. Was I said Thing versus Blob, and the entire entry is just me being confused about how that even works.
Thing versus Blob is funny. I know the popular one is Thing versus Amogus.
No!
I have the unpopular opinion that the Thing wins that because, in one of the games there's an airborne strain of the Thing. So unless the Amogus vaporizes the Thing completely in one go, the Thing will just become airborne and eventually will just work its way in and take over the imposter.
Thing dub.
So that's my.
I have
not
one
work on the T800 though.
I have one with a horror character in it. Jill Valentine versus Chun-Li.
Right.
I know nothing of this.
That's a Resident Evil.
Yes, Resident Evil.
Yeah. The idea being that they are some of the earliest female leads in video gaming. They are both police officers. They are both Capcom characters. And to my knowledge, I don't think they should scale too far apart. There's some level of debate to it.
Pretty sure Chun-Li is like country level. Because like there are country level feats for characters who are significantly weaker than Chun-Li. Like she's very powerful in Street Fighter. Not like uber high tier. She's not like she can fight M. Bison, but at the end of the day, he's gonna whack the shit out of her. But she's fairly strong. She's stronger than like E Honda at least with his like city level feat.
Right.
What do you guys think of Matt Cordell versus RoboCop? The Maniac Cop and the RoboCop.
Yes. Well, okay. Max, have you seen Pan Man, the movie?
No, what the fuck is Pan Man?
So, from the name, you can probably put it together. Pan Man is a serial killer that will kill you with pots.
Okay, so this is a farce. This is not a serious movie.
I mean, it's trying to be sometimes. I just like bringing up the fact that his name is Pan Man and he wears a pot on his head and he kills people with a pot.
Man.
It's not even.
Have any of you guys seen Jennifer's Body?
I don't think so.
I wanted to just leave that awkward silence because people are going to assume like you're talking about someone's actual body.
No. There's like this girl, the girl from Jennifer's Body can fight.
Hey, I haven't seen Jennifer in a while. Have either of you guys seen her? Like,
you haven't seen her body anyway.
It was actually really funny for me because like
I've been texting her. I've been like calling her for like a week now. I didn't know been able to get a hold of her.
One of my family members' English name is Jennifer. I just want to bring that up. What did you do, Max?
Well, okay. The girl from Jennifer's Body is the girl from Ginger Snaps is a good match.
I have one that probably. I have one that's probably not going to mean anything to either one of you, or probably anything to anyone in the audience either. Of Kitaro versus Enma-kun of Gegege no Kitaro and Dororon Enma-kun.
No, I'm lost.
These are old horror manga characters. I believe Kitaro's from the 50s and Enma-kun is from the 70s. essentially they are both like young demon yokai kids that the weird power that they share in common is the ability to sense other yokai through their hair, and also they go around like cleaning up yokai and trying to save humanity from violent yokai attacking them. Both are kind of horror comedy. With Kitaro, it varies. It used to be just like fucking straight horror, but these days it's more like horror. Yeah, just like horror comedy, like shonen-esque. Meanwhile, Enmo-kun became more like drama-oriented, but both started out as pretty much strictly horror manga. Enmo-kun was made by my boy Go Nagai.
Oh.
Well, there you go, Death Battle. We've just pitched all these horror movie matches. Can we get more? Can we get some more horror movie matches?
You attributed a good segue. How do we feel about Sadako versus Kayako? That's the ring.
Oh, Ring versus Grudge?
Yeah. Do we actually want that? Because I've not seen the movie, but I'm pretty sure.
I do. I want it.
You do?
I think it would be really weird. So I want it.
I definitely think you.
I
would
have
be
no
very
connection to
SHO.
either character.
I've seen the first Grudge, the Japanese one. I like it. And I've seen the original Ringu. I like it. And I've seen the remake of the Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
The whole film I was just going.
That's the noise she makes. Stop it! I hate that noise.
And then I said she sounded like a dolphin, and I realized very soon no, she does not. That sounds
like a creaky door.
A dolphin's like. What's the difference?
Yeah, she's more of a creaky door, like a.
Well, anyways, they should beat the shit out of each other on Death Battle.
Yeah, they shouldn't do anything.
Yeah, they don't even make it like fucking any of their abilities. They're just punching the fuck out of each other.
Just like get two random girls from a primary school, dress them as the characters, and just tell them to beat each other up, and just film that. That's the whole fight. Does Tomi have any matchups that are good?
Who?
Tomi. I think, is that her name? That might not be her name. I'm gonna look it up to be sure. I might have the name wrong. You could fill the silence with something. You don't have to make it this awkward.
No, you're gonna look it up in pure silence.
Like, context, like what you're from,
Tomi.
or
Tomi, the Junji Ito character.
Oh, Tomie.
Right, yeah, Tomie. That's how it's said. My bad. I got the name right. I said it wrong. Because I've seen Tomie.
I'm not sure. Let me see if Tomie.
I've seen it versus the Thing, but that doesn't really sit well with me. That's just the fact that
Junji Ito is definitely. I don't know. I would feel kind of weird about Junji Ito being on Death Battle. Not that I wouldn't like to see it. I fucking love Junji Ito's work, but most of Junji Ito's stories don't necessarily lend themselves to a versus scenario. Like the ones where there are monsters, it's either just like a bird or like a shark with legs, but usually it's some abstract horror like the vague concept of a spiral fucking evil wall with outlines in it, or
I love Uzumaki.
A planet. Does
really...
Tomie have a match? Let's see.
The thing, because Tomie is the one Junji Ito character I could see in a fight, right? But then the problem is, of course, if her opponent was to like breathe in the dust from her body, they will become Tomie. So you need someone who can maybe get around that, because that might be a problem if you're making a fight.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure at one point Tomie gets completely vaporized, but the ash particles get breathed in by someone, and it still turns him into Tomie somehow. I hope Max is confused.
I am. I followed none of that.
Tomie is like, she's like a girl, like you kill her.
No, I didn't want to follow any of it. I didn't want to. I just wanted to. I wanted to wait until it naturally turned into another horror character that I know. Just naturally wait out the conversation until I can.
Have you seen Midnight Meat Train?
No.
Okay, that doesn't help.
Midnight Meat Train.
It's on the tip of my tongue. What's the character's name?
The only Tomie matchup I'm seeing is some character named Saya from some novel series called Saya no Uta.
Wow, I don't care.
Yeah. I don't know, you want to fucking put, like, Sharktopus versus the fucking shark on legs from Gyo?
Sharktopus versus Whalewolf.
That's just a movie that already exists, Max.
Yeah, analyze the feats in those movies.
I'm pretty sure Sharktopus is fairly strong.
Wait, no, Sharktopus versus the Sharknado.
Oh, the Sharknado.
Isn't the matchup fucking
the
Sharktopus
Sharknado-
versus Indominus?
Yes, Sharknado is like I think Universal at its peak.
Ah, nuts.
I'm not gonna explain,
I'm not gonna.
Okay.
but
Yeah, I'm not gonna ask you there.
fucking what's his face from Brain Dead.
Brain dead.
Brain
have,
dead.
have you not seen Brain Dead?
I've seen Brain Scan.
Lionel
I've seen
Cosgrove, I
Brain
think's his
Damage.
name. Okay, fuck, it's got other names. Dead Alive in North America.
Oh,
Peter
this is like a
Jackson?
really weird movie. Is this one
Yes.
the guy says, "I kick ass for the Lord"? Is that this?
I think it's the bloodiest movie ever made.
I think I'm thinking of the right thing.
Yeah, I've never
Is there a
seen
scene
it. I
you
have no
think
idea.
of with a lawnmower and a bunch of zombies?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy, Lionel. Is he
I
gonna
don't know
match
shit
up?
about him.
Is he gonna match up?
Probably not.
I want to see a lawnmower fight. Lionel versus like Jim's mowing or something. I don't
The
know.
lawnmower man just turned to the lawnmower man, who just becomes a god by the end of it instead.
Well, that's definitely sensible.
I want Lawnmower Man versus Bob from Reboot. That's what I want. They keep saying they want to use Bob. They want to animate it like really shitty 3D.
Do it,
Do
and-
Lawnmower Man.
Do it.
That's
and
a really
then
shitty 3D.
after that, do Megabyte versus Megatron in the same style.
Yeah,
do
sure.
I love Megabyte versus
But
Megatron. That's not horror.
mainly my thing. Screw your thing. Mainly my
I
thing.
like my
is the
thing.
Lawnmower Man. I want Lawnmower Man.
I want
When
Megatron.
is that? When is that death battle gonna happen? My thing versus your thing.
me.
It's just two versus fans who are very, very full of themselves, like riding on these very
My
tall
thing.
horses.
My thing's better than yours.
It's like you never see the ground in the fight because they're on horses with very tall legs. That's
Oh, I see. They're on high horses.
Yeah.
The fucking Freddy Krueger.
You
joke.
figure yourself for something of a comedian?
Yes. Not a good one, but one.
A comedian.
I am a comedian of the unhumorous variety. Imagine
There he is.
we end up in the worst timeline. They do Freddy Krueger versus Springtrap. I would be so upset.
No.
I'd be so upset.
I don't want Springtrap to go anywhere near my horror characters. People also want Chucky.
I don't
versus
want
Springtrap.
Five Nights at Freddy's to go anywhere near Death Battle, frankly.
No, we need Freddy versus Sans.
No.
But yeah, you know what? I'll turn my nose up for a little Freddy versus. No, I want Sans to judge. I want to judge.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And they have expressed interest in it before. Here's one. What are you worried they might do in Jason versus Michael?
Make
Worried
Michael
that they
win.
might do.
Is there anything that has you like in the back of your mind? You're like, I hope they don't do this, but I
Don't make
wouldn't
it
put
sprites.
past
Don't make it sprites. Don't make it sprites. Sprites would take so much away from the atmosphere. Like even if they do this well in sprites, the atmosphere is not going to be there for me. I'm just gonna say it.
I wouldn't be like pissed off if they did sprites, but it is my least preferred.
Well, if they do sprites, they have to use Atari and NES versions.
Well, that's
Did
I'm
they-
doing
did
that.
they
Don't do
not-
my thing. I'm doing that.
There's not a lot I'm worried about for
Hold
Jason
on.
Michael.
Should
like
I add Atari Leatherface in there?
Because like you can't. It would be pretty hard to fuck up these characters.
What?
Like,
oh my
I
God,
wouldn't
what
even
if
say that because their own movies have fucked them up countless times.
they can have them
Right.
talk.
Yeah. I guess I don't think that's a realistic fear. Is that they're gonna talk in the death battle?
Like, I think the thing that I am the very most worried about is that they won't be able to capture the atmosphere that I want to see in this. Like, they won't be able to capture any kind of suspense because, like, and this isn't to knock like Death Battle at all because the work they put in, like, it genuinely is like each episode's very impressive.
Yes.
It's the length, isn't it? Because it's not going to be long enough to
It won't be that long.
have the.
Like, we can just
the
accept
right
that.
pauses.
I think they'll get it right because I believe they can get the atmosphere right.
I think
They just never had the need to go for a
Yeah.
horror theme, but now that they are, then they have to do it.
my concern with the atmosphere is
Recent
the
Death
lighting.
Battles, with recent death battles where they try to do like emotional tones or like set a specific tone for the death battle, I don't think they've done a terrible job at setting it up, especially for the short time they're allotted. But like, I feel like that specific short time kind of detriments setting up a
It's
specific sort of
possible.
tone for certain death battles, and like especially for a live action fight, it's probably not going to be all that long.
I'm wondering if you could justify it being longer,
But
because
like,
a lot of the
I don't know. I worry.
I wonder
Like
if you could
my
justify
biggest worry is if it's not good. Like I'm not expecting it to be bad or
but
anything.
that's-
I just really hope that it's good.
For me, this entire season has been a lot of really fun episodes. I think we're in good hands. They've shown that they're putting a lot of effort in this season.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do Jason Michael justice. I truly believe it.
I'm wondering, can you justify a longer length, because a lot of the length would come from like shots where not much is happening.
Yeah, like maybe if it's like they're being really good and suspenseful, you could make it longer because there's not a ton happening in some of the suspenseful shots.
My concern with atmosphere would probably be lighting. Specifically if they were to do it in 3D, right? Because the engine they use, the lighting is a bit weird sometimes for me, and it can sometimes come off a bit too saturated. Not often, but like with Boba Fett Predator, I felt that the saturation was a bit weird to me. So that is my big concern.
that was a very that was a lit morning day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have no doubt this is going to take place at night. They're gonna make this at night.
Absolutely. If they,
I've expressed that.
Shot. Jason and Michael are walking around broad daylight. Like, come over here, you.
That's why everyone who does like Jason Michael joke videos do it in daytime, because seeing them in the day doing anything is automatically less scary.
Yeah.
Because you realize there's a guy in a fucking jacket and hockey mask, or a guy wearing William Shatner's face and like a shirt.
I mean, like the movies themselves have had plenty of shots of the characters in daylight, fucking being creepy.
Yeah, but like with Jason, I mostly think in daytime in a forest area more than anything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like part
Lots
6
of
when he
shade.
kills those people who are like playing paintball.
Yeah, lots of
but,
shade. So it's all right.
I've expressed that my pipe dream for this episode is if by some fucking like stars aligning further than they have, they could manage to get Crypt TV on board to like help with the effects and shit, because Crypt TV is so good at costume design and at doing like gore and atmosphere and suspense. Like, the people there are so talented. I don't want to fucking sound like an asshole or like bash Ismahawk too bad, because Ismahawk does have some cool fights they put out there. But I'm just not like, I'm not a fan of when they try to tackle serious characters that much, and I'm not.
I wouldn't put them in the hands of Jason Michael because their deaths have not been that great when they did Death Battle.
I've actually watched most of Ismahawk's like self-made versus stuff. It's good, but it's definitely not my preferred in terms of like live action versus I've seen. I think the only Ismahawk ones that I've really liked that they've done have been Bucky Jason on Death Battle, and I enjoyed the Joker one to an extent as well, but they're not batting a great record for me.
They do good stuff there. It's just like
I'm not that big a fan to begin with of the Ismahawk Death Battle so far, and that's just personal preference. I'm just not all that crazy about like the characters involved or like it's just a personal thing. But I also just don't think generally Ismahawk's style of characters would go too well with Jason Michael, and like
I don't know if it fits.
If by some fucking weird metric they were to go with like Bat in the Sun or something, I think Bat in the Sun is very good at doing like over the top action shit, and they usually find pretty decent people to fill out the roles for their characters. But again, like, I just hope they find the right people that can like make these characters feel unsettling and like fucking bring the gore and like the tension and like atmosphere that needs to be there.
Get someone big enough for Jason.
Yeah. Hell, get someone big enough for Michael, because like in the original timeline, Michael's at least like still probably around 6 feet tall, and then of course like Rob Zombie Michael's fucking like what 7'2".
Rob Zombie Michael's actually bigger than Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like not necessarily he needs to be a super giant like that, but both of them are pretty tall.
We need to get we need to be in the timeline where Kane Hodder shows up in the fight somewhere. We need to be in that timeline.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be at all.
I will say, it's starting to get pretty late for me, guys. So you might want to start.
Right, that's fair enough.
Wrapping
It's
things.
been about 2 hours.
that's
It's
fair.
about average length.
It's like it's 11 p.m. for me now.
Yep, that's fair enough. So
But,
final
This
words.
is so much fun talking with you guys about these characters and horror in
Yeah,
general.
I love it.
This is my
This is
second
awesome.
time around recording one of these predictions, and the fucking last time was the most fun I've ever had recording something. And I cannot express how excited I've been not only to be on one of these again, and to get to record with Nem a second time in 1 week, but to record with you, Max. Like, I have so much fucking fun talking with you over Discord calls in general,
Ah.
being able to just sit here and just fucking talk about shit we like for 2 hours on
Yeah.
end. Has
Yeah.
been so much fun, and I
That's
really hope we
talking
get
with
to
you
do
too.
shit like this again.
I've been looking forward to
Yeah,
doing this
I
for a
hope-
while. though,
Is there
since
more?
movie.
Whenever there's another instance where it's a match I'm really into, I'll definitely come back. I like this is fun to do.
Yeah, I don't like get to talk to Max very much, so this was really fun.
Yeah. Well, all right. This is great. This is a great prediction. We got it settled. Now everyone's convinced Jason wins. Nobody. I'm sure there's all those Michael fans out there who thought Michael's gonna win, but we switched their ways.
I didn't.
Yeah, I saw someone made one of those like edit videos where it's comparing the two characters by like giving a stat and then one of the characters flashes on the screen. It's like, and then the winner is, and they're like, it's Michael because he's so much more intelligent and stealthier. And it's like, Jason's mortal. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't believe Solid Snake beat Superman because he's stealthier. Wait, no, he's not.
Oh,
Superman
man.
can
But
become
yeah, this is
Superman.
great.
Anyway. So yeah, final
Alright.
words you want to leave on?
Final words. Let's get even more horror movies in the future. Next Halloween, I want to see Freddy versus either Pennywise or Pinhead. I don't care which. I want to see my boy Freddy.
It'll absolutely be Pennywise if they're gonna.
I'm
do it.
gonna do the
I
thing
hope-
I've been doing in these long form videos. If you made it this far into the video, I mean, if you enjoyed, drop a like, keep watching these. But if you made it this far into the video, let us know. Hashtag Corey versus Roy.
Yeah, Corey versus Roy. Who
Yeah.
wins?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, give us your hashtag and give us who you think wins, Roy Burns or Corey Cunningham.
Are you talking to me, Sheriff?
All right. So yeah, this
Alright.
was a lot of fun to do. I hope you guys all enjoy it. If you pop down to the description, you'll see a link to both my Patreon where you can support me if you want, and I'll link Max's channel and the horror movie Death Battle video he recently did, which I need to keep. I need to finish watching, and I'll probably finish watching.
Finish it.
I'll probably finish watching after we're done recording, actually, because I'll have a lot of time when it's rendering out the base of
Alright.
this video. Yeah.
Alright, nice. See you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.